Hi there, we're about a minute away from showtime in this special edition of Studio 5, and while Candace is here putting the finishing touches on me, I want to encourage you to stick around to meet a man who went from sleeping in his car to the cover of Forbes magazine. Now, the time in between is what we call a journey, a process, a faith walk, if you will, and we've actually all been there. But what this man did was held on to a scripture in the Bible that says, all things work together for the good to them that love God and to them who are called according to his purpose. Well, that's you. And I want to say to you, this is the time to dream. You will be inspired. And this show starts right now. And welcome to this special edition of Studio 5. As promised, this show is an extended conversation with media mogul Tyler Perry and a look at 5 fun facts about the man who is working to change people's lives on both sides of the camera. Here are the first 2. TP fun fact number 5.
Tyler Perry here. Want to take you on a tour of Tyler Perry Studios. So hop in. Come on, let's go for a ride.
Is Tyler Perry Studios. Acquired in 2015. This is the former home of Fort McPherson, a Confederate Army base during the Civil War.
Tyler Perry Studios is 330 acres in the heart of Atlanta. Lots of things have been shot here. The Walking Dead, Black Panther shot here. First Man, Instant Family with Mark Wahlberg. Really excited to be given stewardship to make sure that the land is maintained, that the history is protected.
TP fun fact number 4.
Tyler Perry has done what no one before him has accomplished. Make it in Hollywood as an outsider.
This is not. After taking home the Emmys Governor's Award in 2020,
I want to say a very special thank you to the Television Academy.
The 2021 Oscars is honoring the actor, filmmaker, writer, producer, and philanthropist with its Humanitarian Award.
An act of generosity from Tyler Perry, who covered the expenses at more than 70 grocery stores, both in Georgia and Louisiana.
It's in recognition of Perry's charity efforts, many of them never made public. He joins an Oscar Awards class that includes Harry Belafonte, Angelina Jolie, and Oprah Winfrey.
I stand here tonight to say thank you to all of the people who are celebrating and know the value of every patch and every story and every color that makes up this quilt that is our business, this quilt that is our lives, this quilt that is America.
Well, that jumpstarts our TP countdown in this Studio 5 special. We have lots more to share as we begin our conversation with a media mogul who pens some of the details of his life in the book, Higher is Waiting.
When I built my studio, I built it in a neighborhood that is one of the poorest black neighborhoods in Atlanta, so the young black kids can see that a black man did that and they can do it too. I was trying to help somebody cross. The studio was once a Confederate Army base, and I want you to hear this, which meant that there was Confederate soldiers on that base plotting and planning on how to keep 3.9 million Negroes enslaved. Now that land is owned by one Negro. It's all about trying to help somebody cross. While everybody was fighting for a seat at the table, talking about Oscar so white, I said, y'all go ahead and do that. But while you fighting for a seat at the table, I'll be down in Atlanta building my own. Because what I know for sure is that if I could just build this table, God would prepare it for me in the presence of my enemies.
That faith has fueled Tyler Perry's life and work. He's written, produced, and directed at least 20 stage plays, more than a dozen scripted television series, and more than 20 films. His passion landed him a 2020 Forbes magazine cover as an official member of the Billionaire Club. You say you always knew that there was greater for you. Do you remember the moment you knew or what happened that light went on for you?
No, it's just always knew. I always felt as a kid that there was more for me. I didn't see things the way that my a lot of the other kids in the neighborhood saw things, that, you know, or even my parents for that matter. They saw us being black or us being poor.
Tyler grew up in New Orleans, where jazz music was born.
He shares some of those young memories in his book, Higher is Waiting.
I had a teacher, I said, you know, they were asking kids what they want to be, and I said, I want to be a millionaire. And he said, you're never going to make it because you're poor and you're black. But even as a child, there was something in me that said, that's not true, don't believe that. But I know now that was and is the voice of God.
And obviously that was critical in light of all that you were going to endure, that you needed to always know.
I had to know. And you know, the other part of it too is I thank God for my mother. I feel sorry for kids whose parents don't give them God, don't give them faith, don't give them Jesus, because life is gonna get hard at some point and you will turn to something. Everyone turns to something. And I'm so glad I had the option and I had a mother who was smart enough and strong enough or had the wherewithal and the faith enough to say, son, this is where you go, so that I'm not strung out on drugs. Because the things that I've been through, man, it's a wonder that I'm sitting here, but he is a wonder.
Mom is among Tyler's most precious memories as a child and a young adult.
Willie Maxine Perry, is that the name?
Willie Maxine, yeah, they called her Mackie.
They call her Mackie.
Yeah.
And looking at the photograph, she's beautiful. You also describe her as probably the most beautiful of all her sisters.
She was, yeah, she was. She was a beautiful woman before sickness and cancer and diabetes ravaged her body, but she was so beautiful, perfect skin, and just would walk in a room and everybody, natural beauty, no makeup at all, and everybody would just turn and stare. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman.
On the flip side, the other person in the book that you mentioned is Emmett Perry, your dad.
Yeah.
Because of him, what would you say your childhood was like, if you could describe it in one word?
Hell. Yeah, it was hell. It was hell. There's no other way to describe it, because he was, you know, I look at him now and I clearly think that there was so much trauma in his life that he may be mentally bipolar. I really think that something's there, but there were extreme highs and extreme lows and extreme alcohol abuse and extreme physical and verbal abuse, but was normal for him. I remember a few years ago, he sent a message to me through my brother, you know, because I was doing something and it had been successful or some project had come out. And he said, if I had beat you one more time, you would be Barack Obama. So he celebrates the fact that he did what he did. He thinks because of him being so brutal, I became this person, which in fact, there is some truth to the fact that he helped form who I am, because all things work together for your good. And somehow God turned that thing around to put me in this position to make it work for my good.
And you have forgiven him, and you take care of him.
I do, that's right. And with no reservations about it. I absolutely do. My mother asked me to, and I do. And here's the thing I can say about him. He didn't have the skills to be a father. He didn't know how. He didn't know how to show love. Had no idea how to show love or what love was. He was tormented since he was 2 years old. So he had a horrible upbringing, but which doesn't excuse anything that he did. But the forgiveness of him was not about him. It was about me. And my life didn't change and open up until I was able to let go. And I watched this man get down on his knees and pray every night to God. Every night, after no matter what he'd done, every night he'd pray.
Tyler was named after his dad. He changed his name from Emmett to Tyler at age 16.
And you learned that the man that you know as dad is not your biological father.
Yeah, found that out a few years ago. God has always given me this sense of when something's not right. It's intuition. I never talk myself out of it. But as a kid, I would say to my mother, I asked her from a little boy, was he my father? And she would always say, I hate to tell you this, but he's your father, all the time. And when she passed, I did a paternity test with my brother and myself, and not the same father. Then I did one directly with him, just to be sure, not the same father. Yeah, no, I'm not his son.
Is there a search for the?
I don't even know where to begin. My mother was such a closed woman, and I do remember a very horrible story about someone breaking in the house before I was born. So I don't know what's there, but whatever, I don't even know if she knew. So she was a very closed woman and very, very private when it came to certain things. So I don't know if I'll ever know. I don't know, and it really is okay. The reason I wanted to know was just for my health and history and my son, if there's anything that we need to be aware of. So just went to the doctor, got everything checked out. All's well.
You escape New Orleans, you get to Atlanta, you don't find immediate success.
No.
For those of us who think this book, we're gonna read it and take this rocket ship to...
No, God bless the man who finds immediate success, but no, not at all. But I was successful in every moment. Looking back on it now, from this seat, I realized that, oh, this was all a part of it. I was working as a bill collector, I hated the job. It's so negative, but you can't out-negotiate me in a contract because of that, I was selling used cars to people. I was horrible at it because I didn't want to deceive people. But it helped me to be able to talk and speak and negotiate back and forth. So all of those things helped me get to where I am.
Including being homeless and sleeping in a Geo Metro?
Geo Metro, yeah, can you believe that? At 6'6" in a Geo Metro. It was yellow too. I had a friend who saw it and said, you need to take him back and tell him you bought a lemon. It was bright yellow. But yeah, those were dark times, but I'm telling you, my faith failed me not.
And we've only just begun. We've got much more with Tyler Perry coming up, including more fun facts you may have never known.
Still to come in this Studio 5 conversation with Tyler Perry.
Some things I didn't know about your childhood. You don't exactly know when your birthday is?
See why.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
At number 3.
You okay, babe?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was just... Yeah. Oh, you talking to her?
It's Tyler Perry's recently retired pistol-packing grandma, Medea. Still his most famous acting role.
Medea and I, we've been through a lot. Through many ups and many downs. Through new jobs, new unions. From haunted houses to the big house. We've seen our share of things. Some stories show us how to get through the hard times with grace and dignity.
This ain't one of them movies.
But he may be rethinking Medea's 2019 farewell.
I think I'm going to flash back to the 70s with Medea and hire an actress to actually play her and see what her life was like in the 70s. I think that would be fun.
Fun TP fact number 2.
We don't have anything else to talk about.
So you really just gonna treat me like this?
Tyler Perry is the man behind The Haves and the Have-Nots, the longest-running scripted series on the OWN network, which is ending after 8 seasons.
Hannah, I've changed. I'm a changed man. I'm a Christian.
Well, amen.
But Perry is still quite busy with a number of other series on other networks.
If I can inspire and encourage someone, then I've done exactly what I wanted to do. Because I believe that if you put that out there, it comes back to you, comes back to your children, comes back into your life. So my focus has been just to do as much good as I can.
And welcome back to Studio 5. With those 2 TP facts revealed, we have only one more to share, and it's coming up in just a little bit. Right now, we take you back to the offices of Random House in New York City for more of our candid conversation with Tyler Perry. Some things I didn't know about your childhood. You don't exactly know when your birthday is?
Yeah, it's either the 13th or the 14th.
Of September?
Yeah, September. My mother says it's the 14th, so that's when she always celebrated and called me. But one day I got my birth certificate and it said the 13th, and then there's a handwritten, it's scratched out in handwriting, and the 13th is written, little black kid born in a hospital in New Orleans. It's like, yeah, whatever, he'll figure it out. So I just celebrate both days.
Now you have this son at 45?
Yeah, right? Surprise to me, yeah, 45.
Tyler Perry's now 51. Looking back, these are just a few snapshots from his son Amon's christening. Now 6, Perry's close friends Oprah Winfrey and the legendary actress Cicely Tyson are his son's godmothers.
Did you want children?
I didn't think I would have kids, so this was a complete surprise, and I didn't know how in need I was of him, because losing my mother, I was alone and empty, and then this bundle of life and joy and passion shows up, man. I love this kid so much. He's amazing.
I love the way he slows you down and reading the book from the piano to picking a rose for mom.
Oh yeah, no, he makes me stop. He makes me stop and pay attention. He says, patience. He speaks well, but he has trouble saying pay attention, so he says patience. Yeah, patience.
He hasn't seen any of your movies yet.
No, but he's going to see The Star, so I'm really excited about that. That's part of the reason I did it, because playing one of the camels and telling the story, the birth of Christ through the animal's eyes, was a brilliant idea. Devon Franklin is brilliant, so yeah, he'll get to see that. He ain't seen Medea for a while. Yeah.
Now, do you see yourself in him, possibly him going this direction and taking over?
I don't know. I'm looking at him now and I'm studying him very, very closely, but he's a bit bossy, so he's a bit of a director. So he'll be in the class, say, stand over here, stand over here. Okay, you stand here. He said, so I see him kind of forming things, but I'm just starting to meet him. At 3, you start to really see their personality. So he's a 3-nager now. Yeah.
What do you do to pass along your faith and your beliefs to him now?
Oh yeah, we take him to church, and I pray for him all the time. I'm praying over him all the time. We should see us at Thanksgiving praying to God. And he was at school and somebody sneezed, and he came home and he started saying, bless you. He said, bless you. I said, oh, where'd you hear that? I said, at school they said, bless you. I said, well, when you go back, you say, God bless you, so that God will bless. So I'll teach him those little things as he's going to make sure he has a foundation, because it's important to me that he has it.
You wrote a letter to yourself,
your
13-year-old self, for CBS.
Dear child of God, in this picture I see you trying to smile, but that smirk is all you could muster. I know that you are having it really hard right now, and you spend a lot of time using your imagination, seeing yourself running in a park to get away from all the pain.
I love the letter. I've gone through many of the things you've gone through, abuse and so forth.
Have you written a letter to yourself yet?
I have not written a letter to myself.
I think you should, man. Pull out some pictures of yourself at that age and talk to him. It is so healing. It is so healing. First of all, it was so emotional. I didn't even know I was holding on to that. To be able to tell your little boy self you're okay, and then to have a kid who looks exactly like me. Every time I hug him, I'm telling my little boy self, I love you. Or I'm hugging him, I'm hugging myself. So it's a healer, complete healer.
Would you add anything to that letter today?
I pretty much nailed 13, but I think there's something I would want to say to the 15 and the 18 and the 20-year-old and the 30-year-old and even the 40-year-old. Yeah, so just as I get 48 now, I've got a lot to look back and say to them, yeah.
Our chat with Tyler Perry continues in just a moment. But first, we take this moment to share his story in pictures. Here's your Tyler Perry edition of the Studio 5 Snapshot.
And for all those people whose dreams may be on life support, I want you to walk past this star in particular and know that I've been there.
That's Tyler Perry's message as he receives his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Surrounded by celebrity friends he's employed and helped to dream bigger dreams for themselves. A look back at this Tuesday in October of 2019, we salute the man who went from sleeping in his car to being a star in this snapshot for this Tyler Perry Studio 5 special. Still ahead.
If I wasn't out here headed, would I be saying yes?
All right, I won't be a long time. Be on the wire here.
Just hurry the hell up.
Tyler Perry's Medea face. See why some of Tyler fans are saying this.
Baby, I was sitting there watching that, and I don't like all of that.
Remember for a moment what it was like to be a child. You believed every story you were told. You saw a world full of endless possibilities. What stories will the world's orphaned and at-risk children believe? We believe the Bible tells the only story truly worth believing. We believe that every child should have the opportunity to dream, the chance to take challenges and turn them into possibilities, the chance to stand on the promises of God, to recognize their place in the greatest story ever told. They have their whole lives ahead of them. Theirs is a world of endless possibilities. They are looking for a story to believe. We will tell them that story. Will you join us?
For an hour of faith and football, catch the special Super Bowl breakfast on the CBN News Channel. You can watch Saturday at 11 a.m. and 7 p.m., plus Sunday before the big game at 2:30 p.m. See and hear from big names like Tony Dungy, James Brown, and Ben Watson.
Welcome back to this Studio 5 special report, and our special guest is Tyler Perry.
Who are you? I'm deaf in a dress. Do you want to come get some?
How much of your success do you credit to Madea?
You know, it's been a tremendous part of it in the sense that it's a character that has that franchise that's worked really, really well. But there's so much more that's gone into it. You know, not just being on stage or being in front of the camera, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that it's kind of impossible to frame it all to that particular character. But yeah, she did a lot for it for sure.
Will you ever hang her up?
Okay, I will hang her in a minute. Listen, she's on a hanger right now. When the minute people stop coming, you know, like this last movie, I said, minute people stop coming, she's gone. Well, it opens at number 1.
I know.
Okay, here we go again.
That's what the hell they know me by. What?
What is you ducking down for?
Hush, I'm trying to be incognito.
Incognito?
Shut, girl. Yes, that's
We ain't going to no incognito this weekend.
Bam. Hush, I have to be on the low.
On what kind of low?
I have to be on the low because I'm on the wall. Look on the wall.
Mabel!
Bam! Shut the... Hi, officer!
We're getting a funeral from her? Is that what's coming
The
in?
funeral is next, the family funeral, and it is hysterical.
We here because your dad is dead.
A heart attack show can't put a damper on a party.
We here to encourage you and lift you up and let the Lord have his way with the dead man. Help me, Jesus!
That's your popo. Hey, throw all the stuff out the window.
What the hell is you doing? I'm pulling over. For what? The police?
We now know Tyler Perry took Madea on a farewell tour following that family funeral film, selling out stages across the country into 2020.
I'm going to dial it back a bit because I got all the backlash from Joe being too over the top and boo. So we're going to dial it back a little bit to clean it up, not make it so raunchy.
Did you get that from the church? Because I know that's...
Oh yeah, I got it from the church. And baby, I was sitting there watching that, and I don't like all of that. That was just too much. Tyler Perry, you used to talk about Jesus, and not Joe just going too far. He talking about too many weeds and too many women. Yeah, I heard it all.
How important is the church audience to you today?
Oh, very important, because you know what the thing I'm finding is that kids aren't going to church anymore. So if I can tell a story that gets them off guard a little bit, makes them laugh, and introduce them to God and to faith and believing, then that's important, because again, if you don't give your kids something, they're going to turn to something, and it may not be what you want them to.
So you have success, you've got wealth, you've got fame. What's driving you now?
Legacy, my son, and what am I leaving? What am I leaving behind? That's why I wrote the book. These stories are in my journal for a very, very long time. And I said, okay, let's put it in a book and start to leave these nuggets of wisdom that people have helped pass on to me, like Oprah and Sidney Poitier and Maya Angelou and President Obama, and impart them in other people. But right now, it's all about legacy. So that's this book, the new studio. It's all about going in that direction.
Please stay where you are. We have even more to share from Tyler Perry. And that includes our final fun TP fact to share. Here is number 1. At number 1.
Delta and Echo, Mark.
Tyler Perry's studios were among the first to find a way to safely reopen during the pandemic.
Let's go get this. All right.
And now,
media mogul Tyler Perry, that's what he is raising awareness about the coronavirus vaccine in a new special for BET, which is owned, by the way, by Viacom CBS. This is video of the filmmaker getting the first dose.
Perry partners with BET for a primetime television special, sorting fact from fiction with Grady Health Systems doctors, Carlos Del Rio and Kimberly Manning, when it comes to blacks and the COVID-19 vaccine.
I'm hearing people say they either don't want it or that they're going to wait to get it. If you want to wait to be able to, come into community, to go to your family reunion, to be able to do the things that get us back to living, I think those are things to consider. And I've been saying to, my loved ones, this is about us.
Yeah.
This is about us. The folks that are really taking the hardest hit are the people that are in your contacts in your cell phone if you look like us.
Still ahead. A voice familiar to Tyler Perry's stage plays and one half of the Craig Lewis Band, Jeffrey Lewis delivers this Studio 5 soundtrack in just a moment.
Tikkun Olam.
This is our nature as a country.
To make the world a better place.
Literally, we felt the earth shaking.
The Christian Broadcasting Network presents To Life, how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
This film needs to be seen by everyone.
I was in tears.
Now you can own the inspiring documentary To Life on DVD.
There is blood on our hands if we know and we walk away.
I'm so grateful that this film was made.
To Life can be yours for a gift of $10 or more. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
We know that every minute counts to save life.
It'll bless Israel, but it'll also bless all the friends of Israel.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are making the world a better place. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com to get your copy today.
Welcome back to this Studio 5 special. We are just about to wrap our extended conversation with Tyler Perry. And if you're a fan of his work, you know music is one of his passions. So this week's soundtrack comes courtesy of someone whose voice has been heard in Tyler Perry's plays. Take a listen and see why Jeffrey Lewis's music is what's playing in my ear.
So if you ask me how I'm doing without you, I say I'm good.
I put on my good clothes and that's my disguise. I wear my sunglasses so you can't see my eyes. What's wrong with telling myself a lie? If it's gonna get me by.
On that musical note, we want to return to Tyler Perry for the final word in this week's Studio 5 special.
I never stopped believing in God, and I never, even in the darkest moments, I always thought, just, you know what? Something's gonna give, because I feel like there's a place in your life when your dream starts to believe for you. It gets so dark that the dream that you can't even dream anymore, but your dream will find its way to remind you that it's still there.
You did have a conversation with God, an angry one, essentially ready to give up.
Oh yeah, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm going to do like my mom said, go to the phone company, get me a nice job, making $300, $400 a week and get me some benefits, because that's what she told me, because she said these plays are never gonna make it. And it was in that moment that I had just forgiven my father, everything was falling apart. I got up and looked out the window backstage of the theater, and there was a line around the corner to get in the place. After not selling, the show not selling hardly any tickets for 7 years. It was a profound moment.
Tyler Perry, that's a great final word for this special edition of Studio 5. Until next time, everyone, make time to uplift someone around you. And then come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you every week right here. Bye-bye, everybody.